Hi YouTube, my name is Kenneth, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 different methods of financially independent retire early or FIRE. So, this is a method that's used to help speed up the process of retirement for people. That way, you don't have to wait till the age of 65 to be able to retire. Now, I do have a quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice, it's just information. Please contact a financial advisor for your specific situation or CPA. That way they can determine the best way for you. But this may allow you to have a better, more informed conversation with those professionals. So let's get started with the first one. So the first one is going to be traditional FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Now that is what FIRE is going to mean for the rest of the video, just letting you know. So traditional FIRE is going to be a lot more focused on small cuts that you can make. This is where you hear the if you save $5 a day, you can retire kind of thing. This is going to be okay. Can I cut out a latte a day? Can I cut out a subscription? Can I the little things that are going to add up long term? Now this one is probably the most common amongst everybody. It's the most traditional form of retirement, and it's not just for FIRE, but FIRE does start with it. If you want a basic understanding of FIRE, that's what it is. It's cutting expenses a little bit, making cuts, and saving. That way, one day you can retire, hopefully before 65. So that's what you need to think when you think about traditional FIRE or hear someone talking about traditional FIRE. Now, lean FIRE is going to be the one that is the hardest to achieve because it demands so many cuts. So, this is also the one that almost all financial YouTubers who have done FIRE have gone through. They may not be there anymore, but the famous ones, Mr. Money Mustache, Beat the Bush, and Graham Stephan slightly. Graham Stephan has more than what he needs, but this is one method that he actually looks at, and it's basically cutting down to the bare essentials. No eating out, um, making meals where you can, beans and rice, saving any penny you can, that kind of thing. So it really focuses on cutting your burn rate, your amount of money that you spend within a certain time period. So that's called your burn rate. Generally, it's on an either yearly, monthly basis. However, you're calculating the amount of money for that period. Now, this is going to involve you saving anywhere from 50 to 80% of your income every year. So if you make 50,000, you'll save 25,000. If you make 80, you'll save 40. Now 40 is kind of the cap for where lean FIRE starts to fade into either traditional FIRE or fat FIRE, which we'll get to next. But it's going to take anywhere from, if you go with the 80% of your income, which is the high end of saving after tax, you're probably looking at about 5 years before retirement. Now, if you want to go the 50%, you're probably looking at more like 15 to 17 years. Now, this is going to require probably about $1 million if you have a lower income and you can live off less than 40,000, then you're going to be looking at less, but that's a good number to go towards. Now, as I mentioned a minute ago, the complete opposite of lean FIRE is fat FIRE. So fat FIRE is going to be about $70,000 to $100,000 a year after taxes. So that's the important thing. This is after taxes, and it's not necessarily a lifestyle pre-retirement that you start spending this kind of money. It's more of an after you hit retirement, and that way you can live a good life. That way you have a ton of money to spend on what you need during retirement. Now, this one you're probably going to be working more towards 65, so it's not really early per se, but it does allow you more freedom in retirement. Now, this will require about $2 to $3 million in savings. 2 million if you're looking at like the 70,000 a year side, or 3 million if you're looking at about the 100,000 side. The big thing that you want to watch out for in this is when you're doing your calculations to find out how much you actually need for F.I.R.E, is how much taxes are going to be taken out, because you will be in the higher tax brackets. You're not going to be in the lower tax brackets with lean F.I.R.E. So that is something to consider. Now, the next method that we have is going to be what's called Coast F.I.R.E. Now, Coast F.I.R.E and the next one that we'll go over, Barista F.I.R.E. Those two are the ones that everybody goes through. If you're part of the F.I.R.E community and that's what you're working towards, you're going to go through these. So let's go with the Coast F.I.R.E. The Coast F.I.R.E is going to be a set it and forget it strategy. So basically, it's finding how much you'll need in retirement, then working backwards and finding out how much you would need to put in savings today to have that money when you retire. So let's say right now you're spending $50,000 a year. Okay, that's what you need in retirement. That's what you're going to need. Then times that by about 25, and that's what you're going to need at retirement. And then depending on what interest rate, you can work backwards and find out how much money you would need to put in today over how many years you want till you want to retire. Now, there are calculators online if you want to find this number. I will give you this warning. You do want to make sure it's over 10 years before you want to retire. This method is generally for about 20 to 30 years. It's better for younger people. It's not really for people who are about to retire or Social Security recipients, because the timeline of this method is so stretched out. Now, this one is something that if you're going towards lean F.I.R.E, you'll start calculating first. And if you want to do Barista F.I.R.E, which we're about to go over, is also another one. But just keep in mind, this is definitely a spot that you're going to look at. Now, when I said that it would take a while, it does take a while, but if you're going towards a different type of F.I.R.E, let's say you're trying to go towards lean F.I.R.E and get that $40,000 a year where you don't have to work at all. Well, this, you do have to go through it because you have to know, okay, it's going to take X time, it's going to take this amount of money, and you're throwing so much in, you pass this phase and you go almost straight towards lean F.I.R.E or Barista F.I.R.E, so you don't stay there very long. Now, with Barista F.I.R.E, the one that I just mentioned, it's very similar to Coast F.I.R.E, with the big difference is that it's not supposed to be a full replacement. So with Barista F.I.R.E, you're looking at still working. Maybe a part-time job, maybe a lower paying job. Let's say that you work in tech. Well, this could mean that you go and work as a barista or cook, a lower paying job that you like more. So this is the method that you would use. Now, this is a great option for people that want to keep working in retirement, people that love their jobs, people that don't want to stop. They're not doing it just for the paycheck. Um, it's also most likely the future form of Social Security. Um, Social Security has been going bankrupt for years that I've heard, and with Social Security, it's not enough for most to survive. So, having a part time job, having something 20, 30, 40 hours a week, preferably about 35 as a max, it allows you time off. It allows you, 3, 4 day weekends. It gives you time to go travel, do what you want in retirement, which is really important. But it also doesn't require that much savings because you are still working to some degree. So these are the 5 methods of FIRE. Each one is better for a different stage in life. Each one is attainable in different stages of life. But I encourage you to look into it more if you are interested in retiring early. Thank you for watching, and you all have a great day.